Hey everybody, John with Team Set Pass, and we're back with another Cyber Dragon variant. Shout out to Anastasis. Unknowingly, I went into the Cyber Dragon group because I knew he played around with Cyber Mekk a lot. It's been forever since I tried it, and I never really felt too comfortable with it. But I took a lot of inspiration from his post and actually even reached out to him and showed him this list, and he liked it, and it was just really cool to be able to see how he adapted the deck and take my own takes on it. So that definitely helped me and gave me a good starting point. So shout outs to him on that. Getting into this deck list, this deck was so much fun. Your opponent, a lot of time, they just don't know what to hit. Like, you start with some cyber plays, and sometimes I'd like core search, and then I'd go ahead and link into my Almirage set one, and then go into a Mekk-knight, and then pop off effects that way. Or if they went first, I'd special a Mekk-knight, and then they'd like interact with me however, and then I'd normal my core and search into stuff that way, and people just did not know what to hit, and it really catches them by surprise. And the deck is so explosive and so powerful. I really enjoyed it and liked it. So getting into it, we're playing one Cyber Dragon here, trying to make the deck as consistent as possible. We're playing a few blowout cards because that's what the format calls for, and the deck really can go first or second, so that's a huge advantage of this build. 3 Cyber Dragon core, it's the only normal summon in the deck. Counting that with emergency, we're playing 6 normal summons essentially, so 6 starters, which on the little bit lower end, but we're Cyber Dragons, we're not really blessed with a whole lot in that category. Extenders, however, we have a plenty. We're playing triple Cyber Dragon Hers because I stand by it in all my builds. Naxter, not necessarily the best in this build, but I always say it is way too good not to play any copies of, so you have to be playing one copy. I understand the price is going up, and if we start to get in real life playing once again, hopefully soon, fingers crossed, I highly recommend getting at least one copy if you want to be competitive. One Fear, I know a lot of people don't play it, don't care for it, but I can't say enough how much I like this card. Whether it's body on board for Seeger, for Verde, just a Cyber Dragon name, Overflow, chain blocking against the multitude of negates that are put out there nowadays. I love this card. 3 Galaxy Soldier, 1 Jizukiru, and then for the Mekk-knights, we ran with triple purple, 2 indigo, and 2 blue sky. Really consider running Girsu, the new one with the normal summon, because then it's so easy to go into like Galatea, and you can go Galatea into Dingirsu that way. And the fact that we have room for more normal summons because we only have the 3 core, 3 emergency to get to our core, it really does open up that option. So Girsu wouldn't be a bad idea by any means. I just wanted to focus this more on going second, normaling core, not clogging up on normal summons, and on top of that, I just really didn't know what to cut because the deck just functions so smoothly and so good. It was incredible how good it did. It surpassed my expectations, and it was really fun to do and play. Triple Phantasme, because pretty much every deck's still linking. Even like Synchro decks use like Needle Fiber or Auroradon, so just being able to fix your hand and get +1 off of it. Plus then you get the targeting protection from like Impermanence or a Veiler, which both of those cards are very popular nowadays, so it's really nice to have that. 3 Cyber Emergency, because the card is just a really good searcher for us and does so much. 1 Repair Plant, because we need to get to our Galaxy Soldier somehow, and it can also search out our Kaiju and recycle cards into the deck if needed when we see it mid to late game. Only room for 1 Fusion spell, so we went with Overload Fusion. I've said in other builds, if you only have room for 1, I prefer Overload Fusion because it is much better target for Verte from the deck. So I highly recommend Overload over Cyberload if you're only playing 1. But if your build calls for it and your build has room, such as any pure build, get a Cyberload. The card is insane. Double World Legacy Memories, because special summoning a Mekk-knight from your hand or deck in defense positions, never a bad thing. And then it goes back to the hand during the end phase, and let's say it's your Purple Nightfall, you banish it and you get another one to your hand, stuff like that. You can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Mekk-knights, which is fine. You can use it to finish your play, you can use it on your opponent's turn, it is perfectly fine, and it goes off so well with World Legacy Secret, because when it's activated you can target a level 5 or higher monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Level 5 or higher, meaning we can have our like Cyber Dragon, our Rampage, and stuff like that. Like there's Cyber Dragon targets, or you can bring back any of our Mekk-Knights that we're playing because they're level 8s or level 5s. But that's not why this card is so good. This card is so good because when a monster negate any opponent's monster that activates in the same column as one of your Mekk-Knights. So especially if you have your Indigo on the field and they activate an effect, chain your Indigo, move it to that column, and now you just negated their effect that way. Really, really good, especially when you start to get multiple Mekk-Knights on field and just start shutting off columns. 3 Dark Ruler, no more, 3 evenly matched. Like I said, we're playing some blowout cards, and Phantasme really helps to reduce clogging up on them because we can draw more cards and then fix our hands as we see fit to play the best as possible. Double Overflow cards is really, really good, and I play 2 whenever possible. Extra deck, 1 Rampage. We're only playing the 1 Fusion spell. That's all we need as our big win condition. 1 Mega Fleet, 1 Fortress. This extra deck's pretty tight, so I don't think you really necessarily need more of either one of them anyway. 1 Cyber Dragon Nova, 1 Cyber Dragon Infinity. We have our Constellar Pleiades because hitting a combo deck mid-combo can really throw them off, and bouncing a normal summon in some decks can also just outright stop them. We are playing Dingirsu of the Evening Star because, well, we're running multiple level 8s now, especially like with Fortress and with our purple, with our Indigo. And Naxxter can revive it. It's non-targeting destruction. Just the card's really, really good, and we can make it decently often here. Like I said, if you're playing Girsu, I'd recommend finding room for a Galatea as well, because then you can overlay into your Dingirsu that way. 1 Almirage, 1 Anima, because Anima is another form of non-destruction removal. As you target their monster, equip it to it, and then you can link it off their monster is gone, or you can just keep it as a beater if it's a high attack monster. Cyber Dragon Seeger, Rampage, sorry, Predaplant Anaconda, again, This card is crazy, crazy good for Cyber Dragons, and just being able to play Overload Fusion from our deck is dumbest thing ever that Konami did. Probably not really, but it's really, really good. So 2 Mekk-Knight of the Morningstar, the Link monster then, because I really, really like this card. If your opponent, if your Mekk-Knight monster battles an opponent's monster in a different column, it can't be destroyed by that battle, and you don't take damage. So the only way they can destroy your Mekk-Knight monsters is by being in the same column. Otherwise, you don't take damage and they're not destroyed. So it just kind of combos off with everything, like with your secrets and with your Indigo, being able to keep moving your columns around and negating your effects, stopping the battle damage, stopping the attacks. Just really, really good and versatile that way. BLS, because we have a decent number of level 7 or higher monsters. We have Phantasme made, we have purple, we have Indigo, we can get Fortress because of Kaiju. So BLS is just a really, really good boss monster. Versus Eldritch, especially Trisbania, is so good. If a monster special summon to it, banish as many of those as possible, and as many spell and traps on the field as possible. So banishing their spell and traps so they can't float, and if you do inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each card banished, each of their cards banished. But like you special your purple to it, and now it triggers because the monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to. Chain your purple, banish your purple, banish as many of those monsters as possible. As many as possible in this case happens to end up being 0. Also as many spell and traps on the field as possible. There has to be cards for it to banish. If there's not cards for it to banish, it cannot activate. So I believe if they have nothing, I don't think you'd be able to chain your purple. I'm not a judge, so don't quote me on that, but if you change your purple, it would basically make Trisbania's effect be nothing, and we all know effects cannot be nothing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this take on Cyber Mekk Deck, coined that phrase, and can't wait till next time.